So we're going to go briefly into questions and answers. So the members of the panel, Mandla has talked about the rail industry, the tracking in the rail industry, pipeline, ocean. Joy has talked about the pensions industry. Charles has talked about the need for you to have that there's opportunity to provide software services, to provide cloud-based services. That every challenge you see, you can devise a model, you can provide a model around it. And then he has talked about meeting the needs of customers. So I've got a question first to Joy from, it says, considering current technological standards in Nigeria, has the pension sector tapped enough into available digital platforms to serve customers better? Joy.
Okay, thank you very much for that question. I'll first of all, just inform you that the technological sector the fintech sector in Nigeria is still developing and there is still room for improvement. However, for the few who are in the industry, I would say that to a large extent, they are actually, putting forth some form of innovations in terms of, members' engagement through use of digital platforms, in terms of the communication, periodic reporting, like sending them statements, delivery of services. Even there are some, pension administrators, if you go to their website, they provide advice on, how much you need to invest today to be able to get an amount that you think can take care of you when you retire. So those are areas that they are currently doing. However, there's room for improvement. So I still believe that with the micro pension scheme, which the regulator has also introduced, that can help. And also there needs to be trust on the part of the consumers to trust the pension fund administrators that their funds are well managed and they will be available for them probably 20 years, 30 years when they retire to be able to get their money and the pensions that they have saved over time. So in essence, what I would say that there's room for improvement. However, they are currently channels used to engage customers in that sector.
Okay, thank you. Just before you leave, another question was the percentage of pension contributors compared to Nigeria population is still very low. What kind of strategies can further be adopted by the regulator, government, to expand the scope and numbers of contributors? You have 30 seconds.
Okay, yeah. Well, digital is just the way forward. Even though we have just 22 pension fund operators, opening branches in 36 states of the Federation is not going to help because it is highly costly, capital intensive. So the need for them to be able to engage their customers, create innovative products, be able to reach the difficult to reach areas, because find out that most of these, the population in Nigeria, most of them are in the rural areas. How do we reach these underdeveloped, rural areas? So digital, the exposure to internet connectivity services. If everybody has a mobile phone, how can they make their contributions? Advertisement actually to also, reach those areas. Digital adverts, either through radio as well. Those can also help. Then the regulator has also brought this micro pension scheme, which is supposed to, help the small scale entrepreneurs to invest in their pensions. It has reduced the requirements in terms of when you can withdraw, amounts you can withdraw, so that they can actually be able to save towards their retirement. So the micro pension scheme is one. Then the multi-fund structure as well that PENCOM has also promulgated is also helping. There you can channel your investment based on your age, you know, to different classes of retirement savings accounts for you to invest in. So those are the areas that the regulator is helping to drive, contribution in Nigeria.
Right. Okay, thank you. I'm going to, Mandla, if you can unmute, I'm going to ask you a question about the rail industry, digitalization in the rail industry. The rail industry, you are muted, Mandla.
Oh yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. The rail industry is it's an expensive industry. You need a lot of investment. How can digitalization help? Because most of the African countries would not have the infrastructure. There are gaps in it. So how can digitalization help in this regard?
If I can go maybe quickly respond to that. Part of my talk, I did touch on it, maybe not in details, that the reason we are using or we adopting digital technologies is to, part of it is to encourage investors to invest in the railways. I talk about new railways and revamping and renewal of the railways in certain countries, including South Africa, within the continent. But to be exact is that one of the reasons why the investors are not investing in the industry, as you're saying, it's a very heavy industry to invest on. One, especially in the continent, we usually have a very old fleet, and it fails now and again, and on the track. Because it's old, and we also lack a skill to maintain them. As I said earlier on, that most of these fleets were imported in our continent. Yes, we started now to develop our own. So we're putting now these technologies, like the digital technologies like IoT devices, to make sure that we can then track this fleet. I will make just one example. When I made a presentation on SARA, which is the South African Railway Association, a CEO of Botswana Railway said to me, Mandla, if now you are able to take a train from Richards Bay, from South African Richards Bay Port to DRC and Dora, one of the reasons we can't send some of the fleet in some of the part of the continent is because of security, safety of this fleet, because it goes somewhere in some areas where it's very difficult to secure it, and sometimes to get it back, it costs more. So how do you now make sure that we can monetize as close? That's why I mentioned that with the use of drones, technologies, you can be able to monitor the fleet or the train as it moves real time. Obviously, technology is at different stages, even connectivity is at different stages in the continent. I think Nee touched on the MTN as one of the mobile providers in the continent, but they don't cover all areas. Not that I promote them, but in terms of the coverage of connectivities, it differs per country. And Charles did talk about connectivity in terms of getting part of the artificial intelligence information, that data to analyze machine learning. So it's to do with that. So to encourage investors, the more you assure them that you are able to track the train, you are able to track the tracks, and you are able to renovate or revamp and manage and reduce derailments. As I said, when you use technology, we can reduce derailments. We can even reduce fatalities on crew fatalities, where sometimes they go and inspect the train in areas which maybe might not be safe for them, and crime ended up taking place. So those type of things, if we can reduce more of those, by now understanding that the train is able to diagnose itself, they're able that we don't need people to walk the track, to check whether the failures or any defect on the track or on the train. So you do that in a safe space at home. So it encourages the investor. So I would say those are the part of the examples I can make around this. If I don't mind, one thing I wanted to brag about at the beginning, that the continent is running the longest train in the world.
Oh, beautiful.
At 342 wagons. And recent past, we've tested a train which is 375 wagons, which Australia is the second to that, has been trying, but they've been within 320. They haven't reached even 330 wagons in the continent, in the world. So that's what I would like to brag about.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's very interesting. I will call on Charles now. You've talked about the opportunity. You broke it down. If you can unmute yourself, Charles, please.
Yes.
In terms of, you said there was 209 billion. In terms of the areas of trend and huge opportunities, can you please quickly tell us about it? 1 minute, please.
Thank you for the opportunity to address this. Now, someone did write to me privately that could you adapt what you've shared to the Nigerian economy? I think when I was speaking, I sort of spoke from a global perspective because the world at the moment is interconnected. That is why we're talking about digital economy. Digital economy doesn't have a boundary as it is just now. We now see businesses from Nigeria, aligning with businesses in Europe. Recently, we saw a business in the US. Wasn't Stripe bought a payment solution business in Nigeria just very recently. So these interconnections are there. In terms of the figures I gave, now if we want to see the size of opportunity that lies there, if you've been following the news lately, you will find out that the likes of Amazon, the likes of Shopify, the likes of let's say Tesla, look at their market capitalization in the last 6 months to date. It's unbelievable. Some of these companies, when they started, I'll give you a simple example. A staff of Tesla that was among the brains that developed their battery system. He left the company to set up his own company very recently. And his own small company, which he set up, has just been called a unicorn, meaning their turnover has exceeded $1 billion. Their turnover has exceeded $1 billion. If we take Nigeria as a country, for example, all the areas I mentioned, you think of the transportation sector, the health sector, the food and agriculture, you name it. They can make do with machine learning. They can make do with data analysis. The figure I gave, about 3% of data have been collected, only 3% have been analyzed for enterprise intelligence. You can imagine a place like Nigeria, take the pension for example. If a company can take it up and say, okay, with a 200 million population, I want to be able to go to these pension companies and actually say to them, these are the behaviors. I think NIE did cover something like that. Being able to tell the behavior of the would-be users of this service. Those data, if you can set up a business that would analyze this information, this data, on behalf of the pension players. Because what you find out in the developed economies, one company doesn't do everything. You look at Amazon, for example. There are businesses that are feeding off Amazon, and they are all multi-billion-dollar businesses. All they do, they saw a gap in the Amazon model, and they are just feeding on those gaps. And from those gaps, there are, industries springing up. So if I round it up, putting a figure, a place like Nigeria with the population we have, I believe we'll be looking at hundreds of billions.
Okay.
Because we have the population, the middle class in Nigeria is growing very fast. You can see it. There are a lot of, here in the UK, we read about businesses in Nigeria that are, you know, we're going into joint agreement with businesses all over the world. With time, you will see these things will spread all over. So there's a huge opportunity there.
Okay, thank you. And Neye, I will give you 1 minute, please. And then I'll call a couple of people to give their observation because of the time.
You're so kind. Thank you very much. I just wanted to also recognize that we have on the event colleagues or friends also from Morocco.
Okay.
It's actually important to recognize this.
You're welcome.
And one of the key reasons also for doing this recognition is that the knowledge that needs to be transferred or that needs to be shared amongst us all when we talk about the digital economy, we find the knowledge in all countries in Africa. The question is just bringing the knowledge, making it into an integrated into an integrated manner. Now, there was a question asked, and I'll end with this. There was a question asked by Yvonne.
Yes.
I don't think she recognized that it was a question. Neye followers can be bought. Yes, actually yes, and it's part of the digital space today. So it's not a joke. It's actually yes. Okay. So what you need to do is you need to have paid. They're called paid ads, and they're called searched paid ads and paid searches.
Okay.
And that is the way you grow your business. And if you're able to do that, I guess we will do an event on how you manage to grow more followers on your business line. Thanks. Thanks for everyone providing us their knowledge. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you. Xperia SZ3, Sam, you have 30 seconds to give your observation. Unmute it, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make a reference to what the gentleman from South Africa said today about a partnership between the Nigerian government and the South African. When you come to South Africa, I've been there several times in South Africa, and when you land at the airport, you look at the train, an express train that they have that will take you from the airport to Sandton City, an amazing service. I remember in my discussion with the president and also the Minister of Transportation in Nigeria to see what could be the best way that we can champion the same thing that they have done in South Africa, African Build, to transform a similar thing to Nigeria, connecting the airport in Nigeria or the airports in Nigeria with the rail services. Is that something that is interested with Transnet? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mandla, if you can hold on, let me bring a couple of people to observe. Harry Ojuya, if you can give your observation. 30 seconds, please. Harry, please unmute.
Hello.
Yeah, welcome.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah.
So apologies, Mr. Harry had to quickly run into a meeting, but this is Brian Edwards. I'm the head investment analyst at this company, so I will just share a few of our thoughts. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone who has spoken so far. There's been a lot of knowledge that's been shared here today, but I think we'll all be better for it. Just looking at Africa in itself, I think something that's crucial that's coming up is the AFCT agreement, which turns our 250 million market to a 1.4 billion market. And if there's any time where we're really primed to do a lot of work in terms of digital space, in terms of collaboration. Sorry, just a bit of okay. I was saying that if there's any time that we're really primed to do a lot of collaboration across Africa and a lot of digital work, it is right now. We as a business have been following that development for about a year now and just positioning ourselves in all the places we need to be. So I think we need more forums like this. We need more partnerships, more collaborations across Africa, because we have a much wider market. If you think we've achieved quite a number of things in Nigeria, especially with tech over the last 12 to 15 months, I think what comes next will be a lot bigger, because things that are not valued here might be valued in Kaolack in Senegal, or something that's valued somewhere in Zimbabwe might be something that I need here. So we look forward to that. We as a business are willing to play our part, and we're also open to whatever collaboration, whatever business opportunities are in other parts of Africa. Mr. Ani himself has said that it's something he's really passionate about and thinks is very possible. I just thought to add that on his behalf.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks. Extend our thanks to Harry. Can I call on Dr. Eseowie to give 30 seconds of your observation? If you can unmute, please. Dr. Owie.
Good morning, everyone. It's been a pleasure listening in, and just a few quick comments. I believe that there are a number of opportunities in Africa, most especially given the fact that the African single market goes into operation in the next, hopefully, actually on the 1st of January 2021. We are hoping that digital technology and fintech would play a key role in actually jumpstarting how cross-border trade actually works. I listened to most of the presentations, and we hope that we'll have some time in the near future to actually see how we can develop collaborative partnerships, not just within the African continent, but having African businesses actually working in partnership with businesses in Europe and in America. I want to thank the organizers for this opportunity, and hopefully we look forward to more of this. And hopefully, by the grace of God, we hope that the African single market can actually unlock the potential for Africa. Thank you very much.
Okay, I will give just one person an opportunity now, not you, Sam, somebody who has not spoken, who wants to make an observation or ask questions before we, 30 seconds. Time is going. Unmute yourself and ask a question if you want to make an observation. I'm going to, okay. Sam.
Yes, thank you. I just want to say thank you. Yeah, thank you. This is Johnny from Canada. I just want to say thank you to all the speakers for those insightful and very educative stuff they've given to us today. Thanks. And thanks to the organizers for an excellent job. Thank you.
Thank you, Johnny. I'm going to give the speakers, each speaker, 1 minute to round up your thoughts for the day, takeaways. People have a lot to take away, but please, 1 minute, starting with Mandla. And Mandla, I think also you need to respond to Sam and Dr. Ese.
Thank you very much, Esos. I think the question was really appreciated to us. How are we doing in terms of collaborating with Nigeria around what South Africa has done around the railway side? Possibly, if I'm not mistaken, question was based on the how train we have between the airport and Sentin, where we have a speed train, one of our speed train, which goes underground in some areas of the track to Pretoria, also in Johannesburg city center. There is that was one of the collaborations we had, and the last question which came up to say, how do we collaborate with other businesses? So we had a collaboration with Bombardier, who's actually taken a concession currently with the Gauteng government to run that train. So we took these models and lessons learned. Actually, by the way, I heard that one of the station is the deepest straight underground train station in the world in Sentin. And not the same, well, although I've been in London, me and you, Sometimes we travel there. I've seen the undergrounds in some of the European countries and the US. They don't have that deepest underground stations. So there is this excellence and technologies and information and projects, high-tech projects like that in the railway have been developed in South Africa. We're now trying to transfer that knowledge and collaborating with other continent countries and other railway companies within the continent. As I've mentioned, Nigeria is actually, if I'm not mistaken, has got the biggest project which will come up in the continent on the railway lines. If I'm not mistaken, I'm under correction to that.
Thank you. Thank you, Mandla. Joy, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Esosa. For me, my closing remarks, I would say that the way pension is managed and delivered to consumers is of utmost importance. And the use of technology to improve members' engagement, to improve communications is also very important. And the industry is fraught with a lot of misgivings, especially in Nigeria. People don't trust the system. How can I keep my money for the next 20 years and I expect to get it back? So there's a need for, the pension fund administrators to come together to develop communications to, members that will build trust, to tell them that they are there for the long haul, that their monies will always be there when they want it, 30 years, 40 years from now. Then the regulators, they should also be able to provide the enabling environment. Reporting is very, very tedious currently, so if the regulator can also embrace technological tools to improve on reporting, to improve on compliance, to improve on risk management, it will also help, pension fund operators. And on the final notes, there should be something like an insurance scheme that should also be included in the pension framework. Currently in the banking sector, you have the insurance, the NDIC, so people are sure that even if a bank fails, they can get a minimum. So if something like that can also be done by the regulatory authorities in the pension sector, that will build a lot of trust, that will make people to contribute, and that will improve the pension landscape in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joy. Thank you. Lots to take away. Charles, your takeaway.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I really thank all the panelists for all the insights and the organizers. My takeaway would be I've really enjoyed all the speakers, everything that they've shared. I could gather from everything that they've said opportunities for myself as well. For my business, I've seen a lot of opportunities from the conversation. As you see across Africa, we are urbanization, which is one of the trends I described. It's very, very common in Africa. You see all our cities people are moving from the coastal areas, the rural areas, all to the urban centers. The need for digitalization is growing and growing by the day. And also the African partnership, bringing the entire continent into one umbrella for the purpose of trade. I see that as a huge opportunity. I'd like to say, like one of the contributors said, there is need for partnership across the entire world. As Africans, let's not keep it within Africa, because some of the things we are trying to unravel, some of the things we are trying to unpack has worked elsewhere. We can leverage on those experiences and accelerate our growth. That's the point that I try to drive across. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Charles. Niyi.
Yes, I am going to end by just sharing my screen so people can take advantage of what I said if they want to take a screenshot of what I said. So I don't know if I can do that or not. Is that possible to share my screen?
hold on. Let me make you a co-host.
So if you want to.
Yeah.
So, okay.
So I've made you a co-host.
Okay, thank you.
That's almost ended. Don't stop me here. Just stay. Don't move.
So I hope you can see my screen now.
Yes,
you should be seeing the talk I gave. Basically, you should see the right brain, the left brain, correct? Am I right?
Yes.
Or you're seeing something else?
No, we can see the screen. So if you can,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so if people want to take a picture of it, please go ahead, do. And then I go to the second one. I will end with the second one, which basically is what you should be thinking of if you want to have a successful digital engagement with your customers. So the ROE is return on engagement. And all these are values which a customer is seeking, and all of this tells you when they should be used.
Okay.
So you have to provide the customer the informational value. You have to provide your customer the convenience value. You must provide your customer the social value. You must provide your customer the community value. And lastly, the inspirational value. All these values are what the digital economy seeks and must get if you're going to be successful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nii.
Please, can you take it back, please? Sir?
Slide again.
If you can tell
please,
me.
Can you take it
Were you
back?
going to say something, Joy?
Well, if you can just share the first slide.
Yeah, can you share the first? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I will send it to you. Okay. I'm going to call on, while you are doing that, I'm going to call on Kede to give his closing remark. Kede.
Thank you very much. I think it's been a very good 2 hours well spent. I have to say that
you have to make me the host again.
There's a lot of, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Okay, I was just saying that, well, first of all, thank you for all the participants and all the speakers. And we've had a very productive 2 hours to my mind. We will obviously share some of this stuff, so don't worry about it. Just drop your emails with us and we will send you what has transpired today. It's been a very interesting discussion. I've listened very carefully. I have to just say that Africa has a population of over 1.2 billion people, GDP of 7 trillion USD. And most importantly, the population of that 1.2 billion is made up of young people, youth, who are under 35 years. They make up 60% of that population. So there are a lot of opportunities. And of course, as a Nigerian, I have to say that not a lot has been said about Nigeria, but I will say this in closing, that Nigeria is $1 trillion economy. The GDP is hovering around $500 billion. But the most important thing is that the informal sector in Nigeria is 4 times the formal sector. So you're looking at a population of 200 million people, $1 trillion economy, waiting for folks who have just spoken here and those who have come in to come and invest. We are private sector people, so we're not selling Nigeria or Africa based on behalf of any government. I want to make that clear. We are private sector people. There's a lot of business to be done in Nigeria and in Africa. And I have to also say that when it comes to tech, digital economy, that's the way forward. For those who don't know, we've been doing this for 10 years. And I joked the other day that as about what we've done in 6 months, bringing 24 quality world-class speakers would have taken us at least 6-7 years to achieve. So that's the beauty about having a digital economy and using it very effectively. And finally, I would say that when it comes to digital economy, there's also a lot of money to be made. We're talking about Paystack. The young man and his company made $200 million cash. The budget of a state in Nigeria was $400 million for 5 million people. When you look at it, so each individual was making about 100,000 naira, which is less than $200. And then here you have a young man making $200 million. So if there's any takeaway for government, it is invest in infrastructure. We've heard about the trains and everything, and I'm glad that Nigeria is collaborating with South Africa. So that's the way to go, collaboration. Time well spent, so let me not go on my own lecture, but to thank everyone for participating, and that we have another event in January, and funny enough, that's going to be on inclusiveness. We're talking about diversity and inclusiveness, and so it will be very interesting to get people to give their views, and the speakers, I believe, will be people who have extensive knowledge with European Union, and the Nigerians, by the way, so they will be coming to speak. And I think one of them actually even gave a hint of what he's going to share without him knowing, and that's the Brian Edwards, I believe. So it was nice to hear from you. So once again, thank you very much. I have been very, very blessed to have listened to all the speakers, the Q&A. It's being recorded, we will edit and send the videos out. And so keep supporting Nigeria Magazine. You can go on our website and look more. And thank you once again, and have a very productive weekend.
Thank you, Kede. It's about knowledge sharing. It's about collaboration. It's about partnership. And it's about us accelerating our space. You've heard from every speaker, and every one of them have talked about the challenges, but the opportunities. So there are massive opportunities in the digital space. And there's also massive opportunities in our continent and across each of the regions that we live in, we work in. So let us all work together and expand. So thank you very much, and have a very, very lovely weekend. Thank you, and see you all next month. Bye, and have a good Christmas and a happy New Year.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you, man. Bye.